It's a total mess out here, but I want to do a garden update and try to run through it without a whole lot of editing. So we're going to start down here on this end. And I have some stuff in containers here. That's a butterfly weed, another butterfly weed. Little goji berry I kept, I'm not sure why. Then we have the 2 hollow logs that I made this year into planters. They both have petunias. This first one is called Really Red. That one's going to be a pink variety called Bubblegum. The reason I have jars and stuff laying all around is because we have roly-polies real bad in the wood chips. And they have a tendency to go after the really young plants, so I cover them up till they get a little bit of size to them. This row right here, I planted some zinnia seeds yesterday. Got a row of peppers. I'll give you a full rundown on what peppers made it into the garden and what peppers didn't later on. Then I stuck some peppers kind of in among these onions that I overwintered, and I think I have 12 peppers in these 2 rows total. Then we have a row here. I planted some carrots down on that end. I planted some ginger plants or ginger root in the middle. And I'm not sure what I'm going to plant down on this end. And before we get by the straw bales, I have some dwarf plants here in the straw bales. That's a Tasmanian chocolate dwarf, jade green beauty, I think is what it's called, dwarf. And 2 serendipities, those are dwarfs. And 2 pink passion dwarfs. Those have little heart-shaped fruits on them. Then we have 3945, Aunt Ruby's German green, and Belgium giant. Then I stuck a pepper down on the far end of that row. And then this row of peppers is from my little project. These are F2s. From that Oda and hot pepper cross. So I'm really curious to see what those produce, since the F2 generation will have a lot of variety in it, so each one of those peppers should produce something slightly different. And in this bale we have some Oda peppers. It's one of my favorite sweet peppers. And in the middle I want to show you this. Normally peppers, well, most plants have 2 cotyledon leaves. That's the first set of leaves right here. They have 2. Well, this plant only had a single cotyledon leaf, and it's continued that trend, and it's kind of growing like a vine rather than a pepper plant, but it'll be interesting to see how that does. I don't know if it's another weird cross on the Odas or not. It shouldn't be a cross, but I ran into that problem last year, so we'll see how that goes. Then we have albino bullnose in this bale. And like last year, I stuck some sweet potato starch down at the bottom of the bales, and that'll kind of act as a ground cover. Then I'm going to put a few more peppers in this row. I got some carrots showing there. Then I'm going to put some eggplants here. Then another couple of tomatoes in this row. Here's that hollow log that I used last year. And this variety is a supertunia called Vista Silverberry. It's kind of a very light pink with darker pink veins in the flowers. Got some yacon down there. Then up here on this end of this row, I'm going to be planting some desi squash. And I'm also going to have some trellises back along the fence that I just haven't gotten around to putting up yet. This row here, I have some of that hybrid corn that I produced last year. It's a cross between some grocery store popcorn and the glass gem corn, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what that produces. Should be a lot of variety in that too. And half of that row is going to be also the same cross, except different color kernels. So I've got mostly blue and purple in this first row, and then some red back there. And then in the middle of that row, I'm going to grow a few plants of the glass gem corn from a ear that popped really well for me. And I'm hoping that I can cross that back to the original cross, which might be an interesting result. We'll just have to see what that produces. Then in this row, I have some sunflowers. Let me see, I've got Titan close to the fence. In the middle, I have some Mongolian Giant. And then closer to me, I have Mexican sunflowers. Let me hit the grow bags while we're here. In this grow bag, I have some red garnet sweet potatoes. I planted the whole sweet potato. This is a whole potato, and this is one that I cut in half. In this grow bag, I have some eggplants. I've changed my mind about 3 or 4 times on the grow bags and the straw bales and other things, so I was changing my mind up until the day I planted stuff. And this one's going to be a mixed. This one's a red garnet. The other half of that one I was telling you about, that one's an Okinawan purple. Planted the whole tuber. It was a smaller one I saved from last year. And this is one I bought. It's a purple sweet potato. Can't remember the name right now, so I'm going to have to stick that on the screen. This grow bag, I've got 4 peppers in it. That one has 4 words in the name I'm not going to try to pronounce. That's a fish pepper, buena mulata, and a courbaki, all in the same grow bag. And this final grow bag has sweet potatoes in it, and those are unnamed, so we'll see how those go. Then we have the velutina, Musa velutina banana trees. Stuck one of those 2 in the ground. They were both in this pot right here, so I repotted it and stuck one of them in the ground. And here's the Musa Basju. It's coming to life. Those little pups from last year are starting to stick up now. And here's some new pups, and they're starting to get their first tiny leaves on them. The original mother plant is still solid and hard, but hasn't shown any signs of growth yet, along with this one pup. It's the same condition. It's good and firm, but just showing no signs of life. And that one's brand new. It's very light, just sprung up over the last few days. Then out in the herbs, we've got a bunch of weeds coming up. Got some fennel greening up pretty well there. Another little fennel plant there. And we have some little dill seedlings that are sprouting up here and there with the weeds. Let me see what else we have. We have the sage. I trimmed it way back. It's really coming to life and already getting some flower buds on it. They produce some pretty flowers. Horseradish is really starting to show some growth, along with that rhubarb. It's really doing well. Got some oregano, and then one random spinach plant. I don't know how that got there, but it made it through the winter, so I think I'm just going to save seeds from it and see what happens. Then we have back here the single blackberry plant that I let grow here, and it's starting to get some little buds on it. Let's go ahead and walk back here without shutting the camera off real quick, so I won't have to edit so much. Editing's getting to be a pain in my butt. Let me see if I can find some there. This is a peach tree, and we've got little peaches. This will be the first year for peaches. We've had bad luck with freezes, and I pruned this thing, but it's still, I didn't prune a couple of the limbs, and they're still over 9, close to 10 feet tall. I'm going to have to do a better job of pruning next year. Most of it's pretty manageable height, but I'll let a couple of them stay a little bit longer. One thing I wanted to mention is I tried transplanting a couple of the common milkweed plants, and I was really happy to see this one made it, and it's starting to grow pretty well, so hopefully it'll bloom this year. I'll have to wait and see. That's a quick look at what we have going on right now. I still have lots of planting to do and lots of work to do, but we'll get that done eventually. If you're just now finding this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Otherwise, like, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.